Flags of Our Fathers is a war film directed by Clint Eastwood that explores the experiences of the men who raised the American flag during the Battle of Iwo Jima in World War II, and the complex aftermath of their actions. The story is based on a book by James Bradley and Ron Powers, and it presents a mix of intense battle scenes, personal drama, and a reflection on heroism, propaganda, and the costs of war. The film does not just show combat, but also examines the human side of soldiers and the impact of fame on ordinary men thrust into extraordinary circumstances. The film begins in the heat of battle, with American Marines fighting Japanese forces on Iwo Jima, a small volcanic island in the Pacific. The battle is brutal, chaotic, and deadly, reflecting the extreme violence of the Pacific theater. Soldiers face heavy gunfire, bombs, and constant danger, and the film emphasizes the confusion and terror that accompany combat. Amidst the carnage, a group of Marines, including the central characters John Doc Bradley, Renee Gagnon, Ira Hayes, and Mike Strank, managed to raise the American flag atop Mount Suribachi. This moment is captured in an iconic photograph by Joe Rosenthal and becomes an image that comes to symbolize American bravery and patriotism during the war. While the flag raising itself is a dramatic moment, the film quickly moves to show that the aftermath is far more complicated than the single image suggests. The soldiers are celebrated as heroes back in the United States, but the reality of their experiences is far from the public perception. The film emphasizes the contrast between the mythologized version of heroism portrayed in the media and the actual emotional and physical toll the battle takes on the men involved. The soldiers are sent home as part of a war bond tour, designed to encourage Americans to buy war bonds and support the war effort financially. This tour requires them to appear at rallies, give speeches, and participate in ceremonies, putting them at the center of a national propaganda campaign. The homecoming is shown to be disorienting and emotionally challenging. John Bradley, who is presented as a thoughtful and somewhat reluctant hero, struggles with the expectations placed upon him. He is a devout and humble man who sees the flag raising not as a heroic act he personally accomplished, but as part of a collective effort in which many men fought and died. Despite this, the public and the government elevate him and the others to celebrity status, creating a tension between their private experiences and their public personas. The film conveys the strain this creates, as the men must navigate fame, grief for fallen comrades, and the pressure to perform patriotism on demand. Renee Gagnon, another flag raiser, is portrayed as a more conventional hero figure, someone who conforms to the image expected by the public. His character illustrates how the media and government selectively shape stories to fit a narrative of national pride and unity. Gagnon participates in the promotional activities more willingly than Bradley or Hayes, highlighting the differences in how men cope with the burden of unwanted attention. The film contrasts these responses to fame, showing that heroism in war is often far more nuanced than the straightforward stories presented to the public. Ira Hayes, a Native American Marine, provides another layer of complexity to the story. He struggles deeply with his experiences and the sudden fame imposed upon him. Hayes faces personal challenges, including alcoholism and a sense of alienation, which are compounded by the way his image is used for propaganda. The film depicts his internal conflict and sense of injustice, as he mourns the friends he lost in battle and resents being celebrated while so many others remain anonymous. Hayes' story represents the darker side of heroism and fame, showing that public recognition does not erase trauma or suffering. It also touches on themes of identity and marginalization, as Hayes experiences both the pressures of national expectation and the social difficulties of being a Native American in mid-20th century America. The film also examines the broader context of war and the way governments manipulate narratives to maintain public support. The flag raising becomes more than a personal act. It becomes a symbol for the nation. The characters' lives are intertwined with political and social agendas, showing how individual experiences can be co-opted by larger forces. Clint Eastwood's direction emphasizes this tension, moving seamlessly between intimate personal moments and large-scale depictions of military and political events. The contrast between the battlefield and home front illustrates the vast differences between public perception and lived reality, highlighting the complexities of war beyond the front lines. Throughout the film, Eastwood presents the brutal reality of combat in a visceral, immersive way. The depiction of Iwo Jima is relentless, showing not only the physical hardships of fighting, but also the psychological strain endured by the soldiers. The smoke, explosions, and hand-to-hand combat create a sense of chaos and danger, emphasizing that survival in such conditions is often a matter of luck as much as skill or courage. The film does not shy away from showing death and injury, reinforcing the cost of war and challenging simplistic notions of heroism. By contrast, the scenes back in the United States are quieter, but no less intense, as they focus on the emotional and moral struggles of the men adjusting to civilian life, while being lauded as symbols of national pride. The narrative also addresses the tension between truth and myth. While the flag-raising photograph becomes iconic, the reality is more complex. Several men who participated in raising the flag are later revealed to have been misidentified in the original image. This highlights the way historical narratives are constructed, often simplifying events to create clear heroes and villains. The film explores this idea by showing the personal stories behind the image, emphasizing that history is messy and that heroism cannot be fully captured in a single photograph. This approach encourages viewers to question the way stories are told and to consider the human experiences that are often hidden behind symbolic representations. Emotionally, the film is heavy but thoughtful, balancing action with reflection. The characters' struggles with grief, survivor's guilt, and moral ambiguity are central to the story. John Bradley's internal conflict is especially poignant as he tries to reconcile the public perception of him as a hero with the private reality of his experiences and losses. Ira Hayes' decline illustrates the destructive impact that fame and trauma can have on individuals, particularly when they are forced into roles they did not choose. The film does not offer easy answers or clear resolutions, instead presenting the complexities of war, memory, and heroism in a realistic and human-centered way. Clint Eastwood's direction is restrained and respectful, focusing on character and story rather than spectacle alone. The battle scenes are intense and immersive, but the film also takes time to linger on quiet moments that reveal the inner lives of the soldiers. This combination of large-scale action and intimate drama creates a multifaceted portrayal of war that is both engaging and thought-provoking. The pacing allows viewers to feel the urgency and chaos of battle while also understanding the personal consequences for the men involved. Overall, Flags of Our Fathers is not just a war film, but a meditation on heroism, memory, and the human cost of war. It challenges the audience to think critically about the stories that are told in the name of patriotism and the ways in which individuals are used to symbolize larger ideals. The film emphasizes that heroism is often messy, complicated, and deeply personal, rather than a simple narrative of victory and glory. By exploring the experiences of the men who raised the flag, it humanizes historical events that are often reduced to iconic images or national myths. The film ends on a reflective note, reminding viewers that the sacrifices of soldiers extend far beyond the moments that are captured in photographs. It highlights the enduring impact of war on those who fight and those who return home, showing that the consequences of combat are both immediate and long-lasting. While the flag-raising image continues to inspire, the film invites the audience to look deeper, to recognize the lives behind the legend, and to understand that heroism is as much about endurance, courage, and sacrifice as it is about public recognition. By doing so, Flags of Our Fathers provides a nuanced and emotionally rich perspective on World War II, making it accessible and meaningful to audiences who may not be familiar with the history, while also offering depth for those who are.